Can you hear me? Good evening, everybody. If you can hear me, just type yes. I need you to type yes if you can hear me on the live class. If you can hear me, just type yes. I need you to say yes. All right. Rodi Atomoleye says yes, that she can hear me. Everybody should join. I want to begin the lecture. There's no wasting time. Let everybody join. We are only 16. Click thumbs up, like the class. Thumbs up. Click the thumbs up. Give us a like in the live class. So we are going to CISCO chapter 8, CISCO IT Essentials, chapter 8. That's what we are studying today. So I want to open the chapter 8 on my system here so that I can begin immediately. All right. Okay. I believe everybody should be able to hear me and see me clearly on this live class. Everybody should be able to hear me and see me clearly. So chapter 8 is about printers. Printers. So we have 22 persons joining this class. So we want to talk about printers in chapter 8. I don't want to waste your time at all because everybody is using data. I don't want to waste your data on the class. So if you have any question, you can chat me up on the screen. Okay. Yusuf Ayomide Oyini says we can hear you, sir. That's fine. Sabrina Homat says she can hear me. Olamide Abisola and others too. They say they can hear me. That's fine. Okay. So now we want to go to the chapter 8. I want to go to the chapter 8. We don't want to waste time. Chapter 8 is about printers. And we are learning printer features and then printer type and comparison. We want to compare printers. So we are going to learn about various type of printers. Sorry about that. Various type of printers and compare them in this live class. I'm sorry. Okay. So, common printer features. That's the first part that we're learning now. Characteristics of printers. We have an inkjet printer, we have Laserjet printer, we have impact printer, we have thermal printer, and we have 3D printer. We have 3D printer. Those are the various types of printers that we have. So we are going to talk about these various types of printers in this class tonight. Okay, so talking about the characteristics of printers, we have printer speed, quality, and color. Now, when we talk of speed and quality, speed is how many pages the printer can print per minute. Pages per minute, ppm. We talk of ppm, pages per minute. And then quality, we talk about dots per inch, dpi, okay? So when we talk about printer speed and quality, we are talking about speed, which is measured in ppm, and quality is measured in dpi. Then we talk about color. Color, these are various colors that we can have from printers. Cyan, magenta, and yellow. That is CMY printer. CMY. Then we have black for inkjets. Black printer for inkjets. And that is the base. That's the base color. Okay. Then we talk about other characteristics and capabilities of printers. These include reliability and total cost of ownership. Reliability and total cost of ownership. Now we talk about the warranty scheduled servicing, the mean time between failures, that is, if you service the printer before it breaks down again, how long will it take? That is mean time before failure. MTBF. MTBF. Then we talk about total cost of ownership. That is the initial cost of purchase, how much you bought the printer, cost of consumable and supplies such as inkjets, all those toners, cartridges, these are costs of ownership. Then price per page. What is the cost of printing printing work per page? Then pages per month. How many pages can a printer print per month? Then we talk about maintenance costs. Maybe when it breaks down, you pay someone to come and fix it for you. This is part of maintenance costs. Then warranty costs. Warranty costs. These are some of the reliability and cost of ownership that we can talk about on printers. Then we talk about other characteristics and capabilities. There are some printers that have automatic document feeder. Automatic document feeder. The automatic document feeder, the Laserjet printer and Inkjet printer models, they use this function, whereby the printer, you can load papers onto somewhere, maybe on top. Maybe you want to make print several pages, and you load paper, and then it will be bringing the paper by itself. And some will even do front and back printing for you. Then some will feed papers into the printer themselves, and other might do collation and ordering of pages. Collation and ordering of pages, arrangement of the pages, the way it should appear. Some can do it for you. These are part of a characteristic of automatic document feeder. Then, when we talk about comparison of printers, we can compare printers like Inkjet printer. We have Inkjet, we have Laserjet, we have Thermal printer, and so on. Now, let's talk about Inkjet printer. Pardon me, I need to let the children come and pick that phone. One phone is ringing. Jefta, come inside, come and pick the phone. Let me see. I'm sorry for that break. So we talk about Inkjet printer characteristics. Inkjet printer is very easy to use. These are the characteristics. Easy to use. Cheaper than laser printers. Laser printers are more expensive. Then we have the other advantages. Other advantages include they are low costs. Inkjet printer is having low costs and having high resolution. High resolution. Then disadvantages. Disadvantages include some nozzles prone to clog. The nozzles are prone to clogging. Then cartridges can be very expensive. The inkjet printer cartridges can be very expensive. Then ink can be wet after printing. After printing, this is a printer that you don't quickly hold it. If you hold the paper after printing, immediately after printing, you can wipe the print. You allow it to dry off. After drying off, then the printing will be permanent. It will not remove, because immediately after printing, it can be wet. So if you touch it, you can wipe out the printing on the pages. That is an inkjet printer. Inkjet printer. Then parts of the inkjet printer. Let's mention the parts that the inkjet printer uses to print. There's a part called roller. There's a roller that rolls in the paper. There is cartridge and belts. Cartridge and belts. Also, there is print head, the head that actually does the printing onto the paper. Then we have duplexing assembly. Duplexing assembly. Then we have feeder. Feeder, where the paper is being fed into the internal parts on the card, so that the cartridge and the roller and everything can print onto it. Then we have ink cartridge and paper. Ink cartridge and paper. These are various parts of inkjet printer. Okay, so I can see that so many of you have joined the class. Please send message to your class group. Kindly send message to your class group that the live class is on, and send the link to them. Please send the link to them so that they can join the live class. Let everybody join the live class so that we can enjoy this lecture together. Send the link to your class groups. Send the link to your class group, okay? Let everybody follow this live class because we will not repeat this lecture in the physical class again, okay? So let me send this message to you on WhatsApp so that you can forward the link to your class group, okay? Let everybody join the live class. This lecture will not be repeated in the physical class, all right? So I just sent you a message on the WhatsApp group that you send the link to your class group so that everybody in your class group can join this live class. All right, so we move on to laser printers. Now, more often than not, when you go to the business centers to print, what you normally use, the printer that you normally use, they're actually laser printers. They're actually laser printers. Okay, all right. So we need to talk about the laser printers. All right. Now, let us see if you'll be able to see my screen here. Will you be able to see my screen? I'm going to flip the camera. Okay. Can you see this screen? We have a laser printer there. That's a laser printer. And then we have the characteristics written on the screen that you can also see. Can you see that? Okay, if you can see that, just let me know by typing on the screen. Tell me if you can see my screen. Okay, we have an example of laser printer there in picture. Can you see it? All right. So this is a laser printer that we have here. It's an example. Most of the printers we use at the business centers, they are the Laserjet printers. If you can see the screen, you can let me know by typing yes. We can see the screen. So this is what we have on the computer screen. Now let's talk about some of the characteristics of the Laserjet printers. The advantages, as you can see on the screen, they are low cost. They print low cost per page. They have high ppm, that is page per minute. Then they have high capacity. They print high quality. All right. They are fast because they use laser beam or LED to create images. So they are fast in operation. And then the print come out dry. The printing comes out dry. It's not wet like a inkjet printer. So those are the advantages of the Laserjet printer. So Laserjet printer also have disadvantages. Some of the disadvantages of laser printer include high initial costs. That is, they are very, very expensive. They are very expensive to purchase. Okay. Apart from that, the toner cartridges can also be very expensive. The cartridge that the printer uses to print can be very expensive. Invite your friends to join this live class. Let's attend this class together. I can see a limited number of students right here. So let everybody join. Now let's look at a laser printer characteristics. The characteristics of a laser printer. Okay. The parts of the printers include imaging drum. That's a drum, something like a green cylinder that you see, like as you can see on the screen here. We also have what we call transfer roller. Then we have pickup rollers. We have toner cartridge. We have fusel assembly. Then we have duplexing assembly. These are various parts of the laser printer. These are the various parts of laser printer. Okay. Then we have how laser printer works. The steps that the laser printer follows to do the printing. We want to learn that also. So how it works, that's what we are going to look at now. Now, We have about 7 steps in the operation of the laser printer. We have about 7 steps. Okay, I'm going to speak about the 7 steps right now. Okay, so the step 1, processing. The processing is a step whereby the data is converted into a printable form. That is, what you sent from the computer to the printer is converted to a printable form. Then the second step is charging. During this process, the drum is conditioned for new image. There's a part called drum. It is conditioned for new image. Then the third step is exposing step. At this step, the image is written to the drum using a laser beam. Laser is a light, a special form of light. So the image of what you are going to print is formed through this laser light and is producing an image, and that image is what we are going to print onto the paper. Then we have step number 4, developing. At this step, toner is applied to the image on the drum. Toner is applied to the image on the drum. Then the image has received the toner. Next is the 5th step, which is transferring. At the step of transferring, the paper rolls through and the image is transferred to the paper due to a charge applied to the paper. A charge is applied to the paper such that the paper will now attract the toner that has been applied to the surface of the drum. So the toners will now go to the paper and the paper will attract them like a magnet, and then it sticks to the paper page, and that is transferring process. Then fusing. So after the toner has been attracted to the paper, there's a fusing. Heat is developed and pressure, and these are applied to the paper so that the toner on the surface of the paper will now fuse onto the paper through heat and pressure, and then it becomes permanent on the paper. Then the last step is cleaning. The excess toner will be removed from the drum. Excess toner will be removed from the drum. Right now we don't have I don't know what is happening. Most of the students that are connected to this live class have disconnected. I don't know what happened. We were about 40 students or more at a point. Now we are having 6 students connected. We are having 6 students connected. So I don't know what's happening. But we are just about half of this chapter. About half of the chapter is what we have discussed, and we are going to move on to thermal printers and the characteristics of the thermal printer. We have 5 students connected. So let me know, the 5 of you that remain, should we go a little bit more or end this live class? There are 4 students right now. What do you say? Should we end this class or move a little bit forward? So let me know your opinion by typing on the screen. You can chat me by typing. Should we continue or we should stop it? We have 4 students connected now. Should we continue now? Should continue or stop like this? Please let me know your opinion. So okay, other 2 students have connected. We have discussed inkjet printer. We have discussed laser printer. So okay, all right. So you guys say I should continue. Someone say we don't know what happened to others. Yes, me too. I don't know. Okay, the number is increasing again, so we can continue. We now have 10 students connected. Maybe because of bad network, some were being disconnected because of bad network in their area. So we will continue. Let's discuss further. We are now talking about thermal printers. Thermal printers and its characteristics. Now, thermal printers are used in retail as part of a cash register system and within older fax machines. Now, the commonest example where a thermal printer is working nowadays is the POS machine. The POS machine. When you withdraw money or pay somebody through the POS, you see immediately that a paper comes out, something prints that paper. Okay, something prints that paper, and that is a thermal printer incorporated into the POS machine. Okay, Gbemi Solar Esther, probably your network is poor. She says it's not clear. So others, can you see this screen clearly? Can you see me clearly in this live class? Can you hear me clearly? Can you hear me clearly? Please let me know so that we know what we should do, whether we should continue or not. Can you hear me clearly? You can type, okay, somebody says network is bad. That is true. I can see that many people are connecting and disconnected. The number has gone down again. They are being disconnected because of bad network. That's very unfortunate. That's very unfortunate because it is evening time. Sometimes the networks are more affected at the evening period like this. They are more affected. Okay, the number is increasing again. All right, somebody says, Yusuf Ayomidio Yeni says we can hear you clearly from this side. Okay, that means your network is very good at your end. My own network too is very good here. My network is good today. And then this semester, today is my first live lecture, and the network is fine by my side. At my side here is fine. So let me continue. So thermal printer is the commonest example you can know of is the printer that is attached to the POS machine. The POS machine prints one small paper out, and then they tear it and give you a copy of your transaction. Okay, it's a thermal printer that is in that machine. Also, when you get to some banks, when you make a deposit or something, maybe a withdrawal, there's a small printer that prints a small paper out, and they tear it out and give you a copy. That particular printer also is a thermal printer. It's not the common printer that prints large papers, just small papers. Okay, they print small papers. And let me show you the example of one on the screen. If you can see this screen, there's a printer on this screen. Can you see this? That's a thermal printer that prints only small paper. It's not large papers like your Laserjet or Inkjet printers. They print small paper, and they use special method. Now, when we say thermal printer, what do we mean by thermal? Thermal means it is using heat, and it's using a special paper also onto which heat is applied to make the printing. Now, one characteristic of thermal printer is that after some time, the paper, the printing that you have on the paper is degenerated, so you cannot see it. It will fade away. If you have not been noticing, the paper you collect from a POS machine, if you keep it at home for some weeks or few months, you discover that the printing will not be clear again. It is degenerated, it's faded away. So that is one characteristic of thermal printer. All right. So they use heat from the print head to make the image on the paper. Now, advantages of thermal printers. Thermal printers last a long time due to few moving parts. They have few moving parts, so they last a long time in use. Then they are quiet in operation. They don't make much noise in operation. Then there's no cost for ink or toner because it's not using ink or toner. It's using a special paper onto which heat is applied to form the images. So it's not using toner or ink, and so there's no cost for that. Now, disadvantages. Disadvantages of thermal printer include the fact that the thermal paper is expensive and must be stored at room temperature. If the temperature is so cold, then the printing will be very bad. So it must be stored at room temperature around 20 degrees C. So that is the temperature that the thermal paper will be kept, and it's also very expensive. All right. Apart from that, we have another disadvantage, and that is because images on thermal paper degrade over time and are poor quality and cannot be in color. They cannot print color. They print like a black and white, and that black and white does not stay for long. It fades over time. So you see that after some time it has faded, and then you cannot read it again. Those are the disadvantages of thermal printer. So those of you, 10 of you connected now, I thank you for joining. If not for you, I could have stopped this class if nobody is connected again. Although some wanted to connect, but because of the bad network, poor network at their area, so they cannot connect. I am aware of that. Okay, so now we continue, go to the next uh, impact printers. Impact printers. Now I want to talk about impact printers. Impact printers, they are the dot matrix and daisy wheel printers. Dot matrix printer and daisy wheel printer. This is a special printer that have print head that strike an ink ribbon. The print head is striking a ribbon, with a number of pins, and those pins will now be making the impact on paper and print what is being printed. And they have a high number of pins. Those that have a high number of pins means they are going to print better quality material. Those that have less pins, they print less quality materials. Okay, so what are the advantages of the impact printers? The advantages include ribbons for printing. They are less expensive because they use ribbons to print, and they are less expensive supply than other types of printers. Okay, like those that use Laserjets and cartridges, these are very expensive. Those that use toner and ink, those are very expensive material. But these ones use ribbon, and ribbons are not that expensive. And also another advantage is that they can use regular paper or continuous feed paper. They can use both types of paper, whether regular printing paper or continuous feed paper. Then they can print carbon copies. That's a beautiful advantage. That means at a go, when it prints once, you can get 2 copies at a go. So they can print carbon copy. So carbon will be, paper will be done, carbon will be on top, another paper will be on top. So when the impact printer prints, which is a print head that's making a impact, then 2 copies can be printed, original copy and carbon copy. Now disadvantages. Disadvantages of thermal printer include they are noisy. They make noise. You will hear the printer. If you move close to anywhere they are using thermal printer, you'll be hearing noise. These are the disadvantages of impact printers. Then another disadvantage is that the graphics are low resolution graphics. They don't print very high quality pictures. Even if it is black and white, they cannot print it. It's a very low resolution. It's very less quality graphics that can be produced from a thermal printer. Then they have limited color capabilities. They cannot print multiple colors like we have in Laserjet printers. Laserjet printer can print beautiful colors for you. The impact printers have less capabilities to print colors. So these are the disadvantages of impact printers. Right now we have spoken about 4 different types of printers. The first one, Inkjet printer. The second one, Laserjet printer. The third one, thermal printers. And the fourth one, impact printers. Impact printers. And we have looked at their characteristics, their advantages, and their disadvantages. Now let's move on to virtual printers. Virtual printers are special printers that computer uses. They are not hardware printers that you can see, but they are software printers, so to say. So some of them print to file or print to PDF. That is, they convert your text to PDF. Some print to XPS, that is XML paper specification. Other print image. They convert your work to image in form of .jpg or .tif. These are virtual printers. They are virtual printers. They are not physical printer that you can see on your table, but they are software printers that are in the computer that can print, change a format of a work, a file to another format. They are called virtual printers. Then we have cloud printing. Now virtual printers, under virtual printers we have cloud printing. You can send your job to a remote printer somewhere on the network. If your computer is networked and the printer is also there on the network, you can do cloud printing by sending your work to the cloud, and from the cloud it will be directed to the printer connected to that cloud, and it will be printed. That means you can do remote printing. You are in Ilaro, you want to print something in Lagos, you can send to cloud through which a printer has been connected in Lagos, then the printer will print it out for you. That is a virtual printing. That's cloud printing. Now, some printing companies have software that can send these jobs to their closest location. Maybe they are working with a company that is in England or in Germany, and then they want you to receive a work in Nigeria. They don't have to print it and send it by courier if they have a virtual printing facilities, so cloud printing. So they send it to the cloud, and the printer nearest to you will print it out for you. Then we have Google Cloud. Google Cloud Prints allow you to connect your printer to the web, that is to the internet, and you can send something to your own printer no matter where you are located. So you have your printer in Ilaro, you went to a conference in let's say France or United States, and you have a Google Cloud Print software installed on your system, whereby your printer has been connected to the cloud. Then you can print from wherever you are to the cloud to this printer that has been linked to the cloud, and then the work will come out here in Ilaro. That is a very good example of cloud printing. And so Google Cloud Printing helps you to achieve that. Google Cloud Printing helps you to achieve that. Okay, so we've talked about virtual printers. Now we move on to the next, 3D printers. 3D printers. Figure 3 and capital letter D, 3D printer. Now, what's a 3D printer? I want to inform you that a 3D printer is not a printer that prints paper. It's a special electromechanical device that produces objects, three-dimensional objects, such as a cup. You have a plastic cup in your house. A 3D printer can help us to produce that cup. You have a plate. A 3D printer can help us, and different other objects. So 3D printer is working under a special program on the computer, that you develop. That has been installed on the computer. And so from that program, that special application program, you develop an object through that software. You create the object, like you are drawing an object. So you create a 3D version of it on the software, and then you transfer that into the 3D printer. Then the 3D printer will develop the object for you. That's a special material like filaments that it will melt. It will be melted. The filament will be melted, and it will use it to develop the material for you, like it's making a plastic, for instance. So that is 3D printer. It's used to create three-dimensional objects, and it uses plastic filaments and other materials to create the object for you. The pen you have in your hand that you use every day is made of plastic. That plastic can be produced by a 3D printer after it has been designed by the software. Now, nowadays there is something that we call what's it called now? That is called additive manufacturing. Additive manufacturing. That's a special form of engineering work that makes manufacturing to be easier. In additive manufacturing, they use 3D printers. They use special software to develop different kind of objects at the industry. Objects that will be very difficult to produce by other machines. So they develop it on the computer software and transfer it to a 3D printer. Now, the disadvantage of 3D printer is that it doesn't print or produce the object quickly. It can spend hours. One object can be produced in 4 hours or 5 hours because the machine will be developing it little by little, melting the material, the plastic filament, melting it and using it to develop the object. So 3D material can take a lot of time to produce. Now, but when you have many 3D printers, when you have many of them, they can produce the same objects en masse at the same time, spending the same number of hours. Okay, so that is the advantage. And then if you want to change the object, you want to change the shape, you can quickly go to the software on the computer and change the shape somewhere, save it again, and transfer it back to the 3D printer for printing. All right. So some of you will have opportunity to visit our innovation center at the Polytechnic. So we have a 3D printer there which you can use to learn how the machine works. All right. So we have different parts of the 3D printer. We have the filaments. These are the parts of the 3D printer. We have the filaments. We have feeder. We have axis. We have hot end nozzle. And then we have print bed. These are the parts of the 3D printer. So bear in mind, 3D printer is not a printer that you can use easily to print papers. No, it doesn't print papers. It produces objects, 3D objects, three-dimensional objects. That's the meaning of 3D. Three-dimensional objects, that is, objects that have length, breadth, and height. So those are the types of objects that the 3D printer produces. It's not a printer that prints papers, like other printers. So right now we have discussed about 6 different types of printers, 6 different types. Inkjet printers, that's number 1. Laserjet printers, that's number 2. Thermal printer, that's number 3. Impact printer, that's number 4. Number 5, they are virtual printers, which involve cloud printing. We have Google Cloud printing software that can help you to achieve that. Then now we are talking about 3D printers. All right. Now let's talk about installation and configuring of printers. That is, when you have a printer like Laserjet printer and you want to print from your computer, what are the things you need to know? You need to install the printer, install the driver of the printer onto your system. Some of those printers come with their own software, their own drivers on a CD or probably a flash drive, whereas some have their drivers embedded into the operating system of your computer. So those ones that have their drivers embedded into the operating system, you just need to connect the printer to the computer, and the computer will locate the driver and install it by itself in few minutes. Maybe 1 or 2 minutes or 3 minutes it will install it, and then the printer will be ready to print. But when the printer's driver is not available on the operating system, the printer will be connected, and the computer will bring a notice or a message to you that the device cannot be connected or something like that, meaning that you need to install the driver yourself manually. You need to install the driver. Now, when you buy a new printer, how do you install it? 1, you need to follow manufacturer instructions. You remove all packaging material. They have some plastic, some nylon that they use to package it. You remove all those aspects, okay? And then keep them, because it may be necessary for you to return the printer to the manufacturer or the seller. So you keep all those packaging material in case you have to return them. Then sometimes the printer driver is installed before the printer is connected to the computer, like I've explained to you. So what you need to do is to connect the printer to the power and connect the printing cable from the printer to your computer, and then you test it. Okay, attach the cable to the printer and the computer, and then you test it. Then turn on the printer, and then let's see whether it works. If it doesn't work, check your computer whether you need to install the printer driver. Okay, I hope you are hearing me clearly. So if you can hear me, just say it on the chat. Let me see it on the chat. All right, we still have about 7 students connected. Let me see your chat on the screen, that you can still hear me and that we should continue. Of course, we have reached like half of this chapter, and we are moving very fast to the end. Then we have a test printer function. When you want to test a printer whether it can be your system can print, or your printer is fine, you can do a test printing. There's a button on some of these printers that you press, and the printer will do a test printing. There's a particular text that has been stored on the printer, and it prints it out on the paper for you. That is to test your printer whether it's working fine. Then there are many functions a printer can have. Double-sided printing, that is front and back. Different paper trays. You know, some printers have like 2 or 3 trays. You can pick paper from different trays. Then grayscale and color. Grayscale, maybe black and white, and color printing. Then we have draft mode and then collation mode. These are various functions that some printers have. Okay. Then we have various configuration settings. When you log on to your module to chapter 8, you see various configuration, like a printing standard or draft, printing multiple colors, printing normal or photo, printing only black or color, printing two-sided, printing landscape or portrait. Most of you will know landscape or portrait. If you are printing portrait, the A4 paper, for instance, will be vertical. But if you are printing it on portrait, the paper will just be like my computer screen here. Like you rotate the paper to be horizontal. That is landscape. That is landscape. Then we have a printer optimization, optimizing printer performance. Stop shouting. All right, we have printer optimization. So you can do that on printer. Then we have the firmware and printer memory optimization, hardware optimization. We have a firmware, that is a software that has been stored on the printer that's controlling the operation of the printer. It's kept inside the printer memory. Now let's talk about printer sharing. Printer sharing. And those who connect to a shared printer must have the correct print driver. When you are having printer sharing, that means your computer is connected to the network, and there's a printer on that network that all the computers connected to the network can print on. I'll give you an instance to explain this. When you go to cyber cafe, the computers on the cyber cafe, they can print to the printer with the administrator of the cafe. So that means they are doing a printer sharing. So the printer will be shared from the operating system through the server to the desktops. So you can print from your desktop using the single printer that is with the administrator of the cafe. That is printer sharing. Okay, then we have a wireless printers. Wireless printer connection. So wireless printer use Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. So there will be a pairing between the computer and the printer. That is a functionality. They use Bluetooth or Wi-Fi to connect between the computer. All right. Then we have a print servers. Print servers on the server in the network. They are the one that control client access to print resources, and then print jobs. They gather the print jobs when people are sending the printing work to the network printer. They queue them up. They are the one that organize how they are queued to be printed, so that they don't bombard the network printer. Then they provide user feedback. That's function of print servers. Okay. So print servers use print server software, and they have disadvantages. And then disadvantages include the sharing a printer cause slowdown. When many people are printing on the same printer on the network, then there will be slowdown of work. It will not be fast. It will not be like if everybody has his own printer. Then if the computer sharing the printer is down, then the printer is unavailable to others. The particular computer that they use to share the printer to others, if it is down, then the printer will not be able to print work for others. It will not be able to print. That's a disadvantage. Then we have hardware print servers. That one is applicable to when we have a networking system whereby a printer is networked with other devices. Then we have dedicated print servers. These are parts of the server that control the printing functions in the network. All right. Now we move on to other parts, that is maintaining and troubleshooting printers. What are possible problems that a printer can have? Now, when you are doing a maintenance, you need to follow the vendor guidelines. The guideline given with your printer by the manufacturer, that what you can do. You can refer to the printer documentation. You can follow recommended maintenance process and instructions. Then you can also follow manufacturers' materials or maintenance kits to do maintenance of your printer. Now, the important thing is that you must be conversant with what you are doing in order not to spoil the device, all in the name of maintaining it. You must be conversant with what you are doing, and by experience, you can gather the necessary skills to do this. Okay. The next part is preventive maintenance on a thermal printer. You must refer to the documentation. You can replace the paper yourself. You can clean the heating elements with a cotton swab dampened in isopropyl alcohol, or maybe if you have a spirit, you can put a cotton in your spirit and clean the heating element of the impact printer. Thermal printer. That's the part of maintenance you can do. Then you can use compressed air to remove debris, all the dust that will be inside after you open it. You can use a blower that use compressed air to blow away the dirt or debris. Then maintenance on impact printer. You must refer to the printer's documentation. What are some of these things you can do? You can replace the ribbon yourself. You can check the character quality, and this might need to you might need to replace the print head if the character quality is very poor and it's not fine again. You can actually replace the print head. Okay, all right, we are getting closer to the end, so I thank you those of you that are connected here. I have 11 people connected right now. It was 16 earlier and it went down, now 10. So we are moving on to the end gradually. Okay, now we are talking about troubleshooting on printers now. What can we do in troubleshooting process of printers? And this is the last segment. We have 6 steps in troubleshooting and maintenance, like you know, in this computer study, the computer course, IT Essentials, CISCO IT Essentials. We have 6 steps to troubleshooting and maintenance. And for printers, we are following the same 6 steps. And the first step is to identify the problem. Identify the problem. The second step is to establish a theory of probable cause. What are the possible reasons why the printer is malfunctioning? You must have a list of this theory. Also, number 3 step is test the theory to determine the cause. You test the theory one after the other to determine the cause. Then, number 4, establish a plan of action to resolve the problem and implement the solution. Establish a plan of action to resolve the problem and implement the solution. Then step number 5, verify full system functionality and if applicable, implement preventive measures. After you have fixed your printer, you must verify that everything is in order, full system functionality, and if needed, implement preventive maintenance. Then step number 6, document findings, actions, and outcomes. Document findings, actions, and outcomes. All right. So the first step is in troubleshooting is to identify the problem. To identify a problem, you need to use open-ended question and closed-ended question. When somebody brings a printer to you and tells you the printer is not working fine, you need to ask questions, both open-ended questions and closed-ended questions. Open-ended questions are questions that you will ask somebody and the person will explain from his mind what happened. Okay, for example, what problems are you experiencing with your printer? The person will tell you something. What software or hardware has been changed recently on your computer? The person will explain and tell you. Or, what were you doing when the problem was identified? Or, what error message have you received? So these are open-ended questions. So the question elicits the responder to explain to you what happened. Then we have closed-ended questions. Closed-ended questions are questions that you ask someone and gives you a yes or no answer. For instance, you say, is the printer under warranty? The person will tell you yes or no. Or, can you print a test page? Does the printer print a test page? They will answer yes or no. Is this a new printer? That's a closed-ended question too. Or is the printer powered on? That is, when you connect the power, is it on? The person will tell you yes or no. Then the next step is to establish a theory of probable cause. For instance, you must know the common printer problems and what are the possible, causes for this problem. For instance, there could be loose cable connections, there could be paper jam, there could be equipment power, maybe there's no power connected, there could be low ink warning, there could be out of paper, there could be errors on the equipment display, and errors on computer screen. These are probable causes that we can list for a malfunctioning printer. Then we have to test the theory to determine the cause. And the common steps to determine the cause include: you can restart the printer or scanner, you can disconnect and reconnect the cables again, you can restart the computer also, you can check the printer for paper jams, you can reset paper in paper trays, you can open and close printer trays, you can ensure printer doors are closed. Okay, maybe that's the reason why it's not working. Then you can install a new ink or toner cartridge if the problem is with the ink or toner cartridge. The next step is to establish a plan of action to resolve the problem and implement a solution. Now you have detected what the problem is, then you need to now develop a plan to solve that problem and implement solution. So, how can you get the procedure to solve the problem? You can check help desks or repair logs in your own logbook where you have been recording for some few years or months. You You can check it for possible solution to the problem. Then you can ask other technicians. Then you can also consult manufacturer facts, FAQ, frequently asked questions. Then you can look at some technical websites where information about printers, computers are being discussed. You can consult those sites. Then you can discuss from news groups online. You can check computer manuals for solutions. You can check device manuals, that the printer manuals. You can check online forums to ask questions about the problem you are having on your computer or your printer. Then you can do some other internet search. This can yield solution to the problem a printer is having. And these are the way to gather experience as a beginner. Okay. Then the next step is to verify full system functionality, and if applicable, to implement a preventive measure. Now you have fixed a problem. You need to verify that the system or the printer is in order. So you can reboot the computer, you can reboot the printer, print a test page from the printer control panel, you can print a document from an application of the system, and then you can reprint the customer's problem document. When you do this, that you are verifying that everything is now in order, everything is working fine. You need to do that. That's fifth step. And the last step is to document findings, actions, and outcomes. You need to document whatever you have done so far to fix the problem on the printer. You need to document it. Why? Reason is for the future, for your benefit. So you must have a logbook. You know, as a technician working on devices like computer and printers, you must have a logbook where you normally record these steps, actions, findings, how you solve a problem on a particular printer, a particular computer, and so on. So you must document them. Then you discuss the solution implemented with the customer. You discuss with the customer, and then let the customer know what you have done. Then let the customer verify that the problem has been solved. Let them test the printer or the computer. Then provide the customer with all paperwork, documents things, and provide the paperwork. Also, document the steps taken to solve the problem in the work order and the technician's journal. You know, record everything, all the process and procedure that you took to solve the problem. Then document any components used in the repair. Maybe you purchase some parts, you replace some parts, and so on and so forth. Document it. Document the time spent to resolve the problem. Did you spend days or hours or perhaps weeks to solve the problem? You must document it. Now, all this will be useful to you in the future. When someone brings another printer in the future, maybe the same model or brand, then you quickly solve the problem by checking your record, checking your logs. You know, run through your logbook, peruse your logbook so that you can see solutions that you applied last time, maybe last month or last week, or even last year, or last 3 years, or even more than that. By the time you remember that, oh, there was a printer like this that I, fixed some times past, you can quickly go and consult your, documentation, your logs, to actually pick the solution. And when you do that, you shorten the time spent in fixing this current printer. And then that one doesn't mean that you will not collect the same, pay. You collect the same pay from the owner, but you yourself will do less work because you already know the problem, how to solve it easily. So that's the advantages. Those are the advantages of documenting findings, actions, and outcomes on a particular device, printer or computer that you are troubleshooting and repairing. And that is the last, steps in the troubleshooting and maintenance. Then the next part we are discussing now, quickly before we end this class, we are going to spend about 1 hour, and it's close to 1 hour now. Identify printer problems and solution. Printer problems and solution. When you log on to your module, to your note on chapter 8, you see several printer problems identified, which include maybe an application document does not print. The document does not print. Maybe PDF is not printing when Word is printing. Okay, printer jobs are sent to the print queue but are not printed. You send work to the printer but it's not printing. Printer is printing unknown characters or does not print a test page. Unknown characters, just print something, and when the printer came out, it's like a Greek or Latin. You now look at the page, this is not what I sent. That's another possible problem with a printer. Then Paper jams when printing. If you print one page, the next page the paper will jam. You remove it and print again, the next page the paper will jam. That's another problem common with printers. Then toner is not fusing to the paper. When you print and the paper comes out, you now discover that the printing is removing. If you rub it with your hand like this, the printing is just removed like a dust. That's a problem with printers. Okay, another one is that paper is not being fed into the printer. Paper is not going in. That's another problem. Another problem is the user is on the screen. The printer is saying access denied. Access denied. That's another common problem with printers. Another one is the printer is printing blank pages. It's working really. We send work to it and it's printing, and the paper comes out blank, no prints. So all of these problems have their own possible solutions. There are common problems with printers and they have possible or common solutions. So when you log on to your module, you see these solutions in your module. Now we have spent about 58 minutes still discussing common problems and solutions. Now I don't know whether anyone has a question before I round up the class. If you have any question, please type it on the screen. Type it on the screen. Let me respond to that. So Laserjet printers, they have their own common problems. Inkjet printers, they have their own common problems. And you see that in the module. When you log on to your notes, you see it in the module. For instance, printer problems include printer prints on no characters. That's a solution. Printer will not print large or complex images. That's another one. That's a solution. Large laser printers will print vertical lines or streaks on every page. You see some printed paper. You see that there's a line running on top of the printed page. That's a problem. Then toner is not fusing to the paper. Paper is not being fed to the printer, and so on and so forth. They have their own solution. Please type your question on the screen. I want to see your question so that I can respond before we go to the end of this lecture. Then the last part of the chapter is the summary. The summary takes us to the new terms and commands that we learn under this chapter. We talk about Laserjet printer, Inkjet printer, impact printer, thermal printer, 3D printer. We talk about ADF. We must find out what is the meaning of all these. We have print head, we have roller, we have feeder, duplexing assembly, ink cartridge, cartridge and belt, imaging drum, toner cartridge, fuser assembly, transfer, roller, pickup rollers, processing, charging, exposing, developing, transferring, fusing, cleaning, virtual printer, print to file, print to PDF, print to XPS, print to image, cloud printing, plastic filament, feeder, hot-end nozzle, axis, print bed, printer driver, collation, hardware print server, software print server, dedicated print server, preventive maintenance. These are the common terms that we learn in this chapter. And I know those of you that were able to follow to this point, you have learned a lot in this live lecture. Please give us a thumbs up in this live lecture. I'm still waiting for your question on the screen. I have not seen a question on the screen so that I can respond to it. And gradually, I'm rounding off the lecture. I will still wait like a little bit, like 1 minute or more, if anyone is typing a question so that we can respond to it. Thank you very much for joining the live class. Please share the video. I'm going to post a link to this live lecture very soon into your class group. Share it. Let those that did not attend watch it also. So right now, I'm moving on to the conclusion of this lecture. We have spent 1 hour, about 1 hour, 1 minute since I, started the live class. So until another time when we meet, I say bye-bye. There's no question, so bye-bye. See you at another time in the live lecture or in the physical class. Bye. So we are ending the live class right now.